When people ask me how old I was when I lost my virginity, I tell them 19 years old. Deep down, I feel like a liar. Technically, I lost my virginity when I was 16. It all depends how you define the word virginity. I've always been fascinated with sex. I drew my first naked picture of a woman when I was 6 years old. I remember scrawling out a mutant-like figure with a pencil and made sure to scribble a bushy triangle between her legs. I didn't know exactly what I was looking at, but I knew that's what I wanted to see. I masturbated for the first time when I was 7. Daisy Duke was the first woman bestowed the honor of my sexual desires. I would just stare at my Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox and my Dukes of Hazzard bed sheets. Then I would go out back and I would climb the metal pole supporting the porch roof and repeatedly just slid up and down it. Eventually I learned the best technique was just to climb up to the top and just dry hump the bar. I never came, I mean, at least I don't think I did, but I do remember feeling guilty when my mother would ask me, what was I doing out there? And I lied and I told her I was just practicing to be a fireman. And then she would say, you would make a great fireman. And then I would say, thanks. But technically I wasn't lying. I was just practicing to be a volunteer fireman in Hazard County that would someday rip off Catherine Bach's Daisy Dukes and fuck her in a mound of hay in Uncle Jesse's barn. So then my sweet 16 came upon me. This was the year I theoretically lost my virginity. I was 6'2" and I weighed 120 pounds. I wore turtlenecks, a tuxedo shirt with vest and a rhinestone bolo tie. I also exclusively wore slacks that I tucked into my black pirate boots that were decorated with buckles. I was the epitome of virgins. This is all true. This is what's fucking ridiculous. So picture me this. And I had a jazzy mullet. Like flock of seagulls, kind of fucking like it. Go to my website, you'll see it. It was a cruel joke when the school administrators mandated every student to attend an annual AIDS awareness class. And I apologize to all taxpayers who had to waste their money on me. At that time, I couldn't have gotten laid in a fallout shelter in Tahiti during a nuclear holocaust with a pocket full of ecstasy. I spent the summer with my cousin Marty in Daytona Beach, Florida. We both worked as bag boys at Albertson's grocery store. Marty was the exact opposite of me, a son of a coach, a linebacker, a weightlifter, a beer drinker, sexually experienced, steroid user, and extremely aggressive. I, on the other hand, was the thespian treasurer. Member of the chess club. MC for the dances, competed in poetry, interned as a juggling clown, did the announcements, tutored algebra, played Prince Dauntless in the musical Once Upon a Mattress, and was Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh. So after working the 3 to 11 night shift at the grocery store, Marty and I drove around across the street to Burger King to get something to eat. 1989 was a pathetic year to be a teenager, post-metal and pre-grunge, a purgatory of no identity. Marty hated going home early, so he decided to drive around. I suggested, why don't we just go home and play Tecmo Bowl or Mega Man on your Sega? And Marty snarled back, you're such a fag. Don't you want to get laid? This seemed like a rhetorical question. I was going to call him on that. But I refrained because I thought if I had asked him, is that a rhetorical question, that kind of language would only confirm my fagginess by Daytona Beach standards. So I said, no, I'm not gay, and yes, of course I want to have sex at some point in my life. Sure you do, he said doubtfully, and then he said, you know, we got to figure something out. This sucks. Then he jerks the wheel of his mom's 87 Chrysler LeBaron to the right and sped back. I got an idea, he proclaimed. Do you want to get your dick sucked, he asked. What? I replied. Do you want to get your dick sucked tonight? He said slowly, if I was eventually challenged with like a hearing impairment. By who? I told you, I mean, by you? What? I told you I'm not gay. I said, confused. I didn't. What? No, dick nose, not by me. A girl, he answered. He took a left on Ridgewood Avenue and headed north. Where are we going, I asked. Just shut up and trust me. If it wasn't for me, you'd be a virgin for the rest of your life. I pondered that statement. A virgin for the rest of my life. Those words lanced through my heart. Would I be a virgin for the rest of my life? I nervously stared out the window. How was he going to get my dick sucked? Are we going to Julie's house? That poor girl with no self-esteem who sought everyone's approval by blowing the entire football team? No thanks. I don't want Julie on my penis. So we took a left on 2nd Avenue. This is my first time on 2nd Avenue. We've been warned our entire lives never to go near 2nd Avenue. It leads to Cracktown. It's filled with whores and drug dealers. Where are we going, I asked. Just shut up. I told you I was going to get your dick sucked. You don't believe me? You think I'm a liar? He barked back. I locked the doors and I said, no, I don't think you're a liar. I just don't understand why we're driving down 2nd Avenue at midnight. He rolled down my window using his automatic controller with his left hand and pulled up to the corner occupied by a prostitute. What are you doing? I'm not going to... You're such a pussy, he said under his breath. And then he called out to the streetwalker. Hey, baby, what are you... Are you a cop? Which she replied, no, baby, are you two cops? She said, the standard salutations of people about to engage in criminal activity. I stared straight ahead. My heart pounded against my chest. It felt like a rat trapped in a sealed Tupperware container. How much would it cost to give my cousin here a good time, he asked. She touched my chin gently and said, you're really cute. I'll only charge you $10. How old are you, sweetie? 19. I lied. I don't know why I lied. I mean, there isn't an legal age to use the service of a prostitute. But that was the age that popped in my head. And she laughed and said, sure you are, baby. She got into the back of the car and we drove to a discreet location away from the main traffic. Marty got out of the car and sat on the hood to make sure no one would come up on us. She moved up to the driver's seat and gave me the lowdown. I'll suck your dick for 7 minutes or until you blow your load, whichever comes first. Nauseously and awkwardly, I said, oh, okay, all right. Let's do this. So the time limit didn't bother me and the $10 seemed like a reasonable rate. I was more nervous that I would explode the moment she made contact and be ridiculed by Marty the rest of my life. So Marty peered into the windshield with a sinister-looking frat guy grin and made the universal hand gesture of palming a head up and down in his crotch. And I shooed him away, to look away for privacy. And I took note of the time, 12:03 a.m. 7 minutes. My entire upbringing told me that this was wrong, but the warmth of her mouth negated my guilt. So being a blowjob receiving neophyte, I didn't know what to do with my hands. So Marty turned around and pantomimed me to slap her ass. But being a gentleman, I decided to rub her back. And the massagist on the hood was disgusted by my sensitivity and turned around abruptly. At 12:07 a.m., only 4 minutes later, she stopped and said it would cost another $10 to finish. I only made $3.35 an hour as a bag boy. And I only had $10 left in my pocket, so we argued for like 3 more minutes, then she hopped out of the car and we drove away from 2nd Avenue forever. So from now on, when people ask me when I lost my virginity, I'm not going to lie anymore. I'm going to give it to them straight. I officially lost my virginity at 19, but at 16, I lost my dignity. Thank you very much.